This coverage of NAB is brought to you by V35 Project, giving modern cinema lenses vintage looks. For more information about V35 Project, visit www.v35project.com. Hey everybody, we're here at the Tilta booth with Nick talking about a product that I'm actually really excited about. So excited that I was anxiously waiting for the pre-orders to open on the new Tilta Nucleus 2, which we all know the first gen version. We've all used it. It's very popular at our shop, but it had some limitations, which was great for the time, but now improved. Lots of improvements. So Nick, if you can, take me through kind of what's been improved upon and kind of what to expect from the new system.
Yeah, so I think starting with the Fizz, the biggest single update that we've done is made it easier to see the information of your lens on the unit while you're operating. So if you take a look here, you're gonna see we have replaced the digital, or we've replaced the physical focus ring with a digital marker.
And can you still do a physical if you want to?
Yeah, it does include them.
Great.
You can do it the exact same way if that's what you're familiar with. So this is going to allow you to map your lens and then see the exact setting right from a kind of comfortable operator's perspective, including the screen for zoom information as well as iris. And then we also have a small screen on the back just for iris information.
That's great.
And then a dial. So this actually can control up to 4 motors. So what we've been seeing a lot of with our variable NDs for our smaller Mirage and now this larger one is that a lot of people will attach a motor to the top to wirelessly control them. And I think if you're using a gimbal or Steadicam, or even in newer TV shows that I might not name, but if you need to slightly adjust your exposure for different long shots, it's something that has been pretty popular. So adding 4 controllers to the Fizz has been something that we've been
Now, are any of these colors on here say like RGB? If this was like A cam, B cam, are they colored at all, or is it just kind of a white light for illumination?
This is just a white light for illumination. So and then, this can be disabled as well.
That's really cool. And then on this digital thing here, so if you change a lens and you change the map in here for the new focal length, does that reflect on this as well? So there's no more like changing of just a single one that works for every lens as long as you're switching the map.
Exactly. So you can store up to 120 individual lenses in here.
That's
you
insane.
can map them yourself. You can download them through USB. So for the time being, I think that is just going to be a kind of person to person. Maybe you have a set of lenses you're renting, you map them, you send the files on Google Drive if they want to download them.
That's awesome.
We will have an online directory at some point, but I'm not exactly sure when that'll be available. So for the time being, the lens mapping process is pretty quick. It can kind of intuitively guess what the next point is, meaning that once you give it a couple points of information, it can do a pretty accurate job of predicting the next, and then you're just kind of going through making sure it's correct, more or less.
And then is this same battery system as the old?
No, it's a small change, but it is a pretty big one. That these now run on the much requested, let's see if I can find this release, Sony NPF batteries. So that is both the Fizz and the hand grips. You're going to get similar battery life as the NPFs, but it's going to be a lot easier to find and charge these. So,
that's super cool.
I think that's a pretty big one.
The motors.
Yes.
Tell me about the motors. I see it's a very similar light system as it is on the Nano 2 setup. So what's new on the motors versus the old?
So they're a bit smaller, a bit more compact, similar torque, exact same cables. A couple little things, but I think one big thing for previous M users and rental houses is that we now have individual 19 millimeter and 15 millimeter mounts. What that means
those always got lost. The inserts always got lost.
But the sweet spot for tension on the rods is now fine-tuned for each rod size, where using the single one on the M1, it caused it to strip a bit easier, or it made it too easy to over tighten. So these are noticeably a lot more secure. I believe they're backwards compatible, meaning they should mount to the old motors. And just the design, getting the, similar to the Nano 2, getting the main motor driver element a little offset from the rod mount really helps that force not all come directly off. So you'll notice these just seem to bite a little easier, and they perform a bit more. This is on 19, which is a more solid rod, but even on 15, it's not nearly as jumpy of a motor, which I know the M did have a lot of torque. This does have the same amount of torque, but this seems easier to integrate and keep.
Very cool. And then this hand unit is backwards compatible with, say, the Nano 2 motors. So if you had a gimbal with like a Nano 2 And then you had your main camera, had these motors. You can just jump channels and kind of use the same hand unit.
Yeah, even integrating Nano 2 motors, M1 motors, M2, it all kind of works together. So if you're not going to upgrade the full kit at once, getting just the Fizz is a good way to get a lot of the new features.
That's awesome.
Camera control is another one in terms of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, similar to Nano 2. You know,
Awesome.
we'll have USB-C connection, stuff like the Sony FX3, FX6, Blackmagic Pixis. You know, all
Very
kinds
usable.
of-
We've done that quite a bit on shoots that I've done myself. So I'm looking actually a lot more forward to this system having that kind of integration. Same thing with just cameras changing going forward that allow that. Very cool. Okay, last kind of question, pricing, availability. What's the situation?
So this is a higher MSRP. We are retailing this for $2,000 for the full kit, which is Fizz, 2 motors, 2 handles.
Yep.
Right now we're doing a pre-order price for $1,300.
Yep.
So it is a pretty significant discount if you order soon.
Yep.
It should be the same price through dealers, so just keep an eye out. I can't say if we'll always have that $2,000 price point or not, but at the moment that is the price for the kit. We'll have different kits available as well. But those are just kind of estimates for how much that'll be.
And then the handles have changed.
Handles have changed. They are fairly similar. I'd say that's the least change. The big thing with the handles is also the MPF batteries. Screen is a bit larger, easier to read.
Awesome.
And the thumb module for the zoom rocker can now quick release. So it's easier to swap between hand grips if you have an operator who has different preference. Where before you have to unscrew it was upside down. It just wasn't really meant for that. Now it is. So.
Well, cool. Well, that is a pretty great overview. Thanks a ton, Nick, for showing us through the system, and you should definitely get one. If you need one, it's going to be well worth it, I promise. It's really great on the showroom floor. Wish you guys could play with it here, but I'm sure you'll get one soon enough. Catch you soon.